I'd like to tell you about this human-centric manufacturing culture study that was done in partnership with three organizations. Digital Manufacturing Ireland, a national institute for supporting companies in their adoption of technology and the related skilling and cultural transformation that's helpful to support it. MIT, that probably doesn't need a whole lot of introduction, in Massachusetts. What I think it's been consistently rated the top engineering school worldwide for multiple decades. They are just a fantastic engineering school. And ourselves, the International Academy of Automation Engineering. So a little bit about ourselves. It's always good to know, who am I listening to? Why should I listen to them? What do they do? Why do they do it? Our organization is an education, credentialing, and research organization. It's established as a not-for-profit, and it exists to help convene energy and expertise between companies to solve a problem too big for one company to solve alone. That's who we are. We have 4 purpose-driven ecosystems. I enjoyed the presentation this morning, the clarity around strategy, and it's always resonated well with me. I love strategy, and I know many of you in the room will love it too. It's good to know, well, what is the strategy of an organization? And our strategy is really to have 4 purpose-driven ecosystems: education and credentialing, managed client programs like the supporting learning sprints that our organization has done with Vertex over the last 3 to 4 years, and also research and development. And that's the particular emphasis I'd like to have today. So along with Rochelle, we have representation from, I think it's over a dozen now, companies on our advisory board who steer the direction of our organization. So this study happened in 2023. It included 90 leaders who were surveyed, the top leadership at each of the manufacturing sites that we went to, from the medical device sector. Now you're saying, well, I'm not a medical device, but trust me, the findings I think will resonate well. We interviewed 60 of them in depth, visiting their organizations, speaking with these leaders, and going through very detailed interviews with them. 11 companies, some of the names you might recognize below: Medtronic, West Pharma, Freudenberg Medical, and some others. So this is the kind of caliber of company that we were speaking to and with. What did we do? We asked them lots of questions around how they work, how they operate, how they understand culture, what they do to both, what would you call it, bring people on a journey, how they adopt technology, the successes they've had, the difficulties they've had. And we really analyzed that data carefully. And all credit here to my co-authors with the research study that was published at MIT, Dr. Donna Rhodes, also 2 individuals at DMI, Sarah Cuddy, and they were just superb partners to establish this research. So, what is human-centric manufacturing, you might ask? This table is a very quick way of kind of seeing a comparison. I'm going to draw out one in particular, because this is a really, I think, helpful way to make a distinction. So at the bottom of this table, you'll see workforce is involved in designing and deploying new digital technologies in consultation with specialists. The contrast, non-human-centric, would be design of new digital technologies is by designated specialists and then deployed to the workforce. It's almost like, here's your gift. Why won't you love this? But it's not done in consultation, the kind of that organizational change management that Rochelle mentioned. So there's more that you could digest afterwards or reflect on, but for the sake of time, I'm going to go on to really show you how did we then interpret all this feedback? How did this lead to a framework that I think would be helpful for each of you? So what we did was we plotted all of that response, interview survey data, all of that into a framework. And the framework has 4 quadrants: clan, adhocracy, hierarchy, and market. The 12 themes that we identified as particularly effective for supporting or enabling a human-centric manufacturing culture are shown in the top 2 quadrants. The clan quadrant is one that really is the people-oriented approach that really emphasizes collaboration. Now, it's no surprise in Ireland, it's a smaller island nation, so everyone knows everyone. You can't walk in a city without maybe bumping into someone you know. I know you have the luxury of anonymity here in some of your US cities, but in Ireland, it's more of a clan culture because people, I suppose, by proximity, know each other well, and then it's a small ecosystem in an industry as well. But that doesn't always translate to within a company culture, but some companies have leveraged that incredibly well to have that kind of like collaboration culture in their DNA. The adhocracy quadrant actually is very familiar with many of, say, of the US companies we would speak with and work with, because that entrepreneurial mindset, that customer or focus and centricity is often an incredible strength that many of your organizations, I'm sure in this room, also have. Like we heard from Rochelle around that focus on patients and patient stories as an incredibly effective way of kind of like tapping into that cultural enabler. So you'll notice there are 4 categories and 12 themes. I think for your interest, let me make an observation. When you heard Rochelle speak earlier, she mentioned a number of these themes indirectly, and I'm just going to call out 2 or 3 in particular. Rochelle would say the values themes, when I asked her, were ones that she believes Vertex is quite strong in now. That is the patient-centric, open to change, transparent and collaborative teams, and aim for discussion. You heard that debate hard and move forward together as one. Strive for a blame-free, risk and failure-tolerant culture. She also mentioned, in the same breath or when she shared this, that there's areas they'd like to get better at. And I'm sure each of you in this room will go, yes, we've got elements of strength, but we know we could be stronger here, or it could give us an advantage for our people and our organization. So I know Rochelle won't mind me calling this out, but digitally informed goal setting and assessment. That's an area they'd like to strengthen in the coming years. But the advantage of this framework is that it allows you to assess where are we now, perhaps, where would we like to go, and then what pathways could we take to get there. So that's what we believe is the advantage of this framework. But Malcolm, this is fantastic. I'm sure the people will be very happy with that emphasis, but what does it do for our organization? So I'm going to refer to another study. Rochelle mentioned one McKinsey study. This is another one of my favorite ones that they've produced in the last 2 or 3 years. It's called Performance Through People, Transforming Human Capital into Competitive Advantage. If you would like a good talking point with some of your senior managers, senior leaders, when you return to your organizations, this particular study has a fantastic chart on the right. You won't see the full detail, I'm sure, at that distance. But the top right-hand side shows how companies who emphasize both performance and people in terms of supporting people well outperform their competitors on almost all metrics. I think the only metric they don't outperform is a company that's so focused on people that they have no attrition, no one leaves because they love it so much, but they don't do so well in the marketplace. Our contention is that a company that truly understands the power of a human-centric culture can outperform its competitors on its business objectives and its measures of well-being for its people. And that's what makes us so passionate, I suppose, about this research and what it means for industry. I'm going to finish off with 2 slides. One is what new thinking is needed and what should leaders do differently. Now, no leader likes to be told how to think or what to do, so I'm going to really take a big, bold risk in this one. But on the first one, left-hand side, I'm going to call out one in particular that is the second point. Carefully identifying how to retain and strengthen the best of your existing culture and how to use evidence-based approaches to do so. Sometimes, when presented with new information or frameworks, the temptation is to just lunge into it. My suggestion is reflect carefully on what your existing strengths are, and as you undertake new changes or initiatives or strategies, don't lose what's already a good strength. So really retain that strength and use it as a platform for building the additional strengths that you would be looking to build. And then on the right-hand side, some suggestions of what to do differently. I'm going to emphasize the one second from the bottom. Take steps to enhance your own understanding of systems thinking, organizational change management, design thinking, and human performance. These are incredible disciplines that add enormous value to you as a professional in your toolkit, how you operate, how you think, how you can engage your people. And there is a lot of expertise behind each of those elements, aspects. So that really comes to the end of what I wanted to share. I'm going to go back, I suppose, to that 20-year question. I'm just going to put up here for further reading. If you'd like this study to digest and reflect on further, there's 3 ways of accessing it. There's a QR code that will bring you to an infographic, and that infographic is just a very light, quick way of accessing the findings. There's a full report, and then there's a detailed research paper that was submitted to the Production and Manufacturing Research Journal. So we tried to take this very seriously because we believe its impact could be profound, and we're delighted to share it with you today. On the 20-year question, 93% of those leaders said that they wanted to go meet those people again in a reunion in 20 years' time. Whether or not we all see each other in 20 years' time remains to be seen, but I wish you all the very best in your organizations and as you lead your people forward. Thank you very much, and thanks, Jim.